let's talk about the experiment I want you to do this week. So we're actually going to do a real experiment, but we're going to use simulated data to do that. So you've already looked at the lab handout, right? And these are the question set data things that you need to complete. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to go to this Google site, and I want you to look at some termite behaviors by looking at these videos. So look at these videos and see what these termites do when they're encountering marker lines and pen lines. There are more videos here if you want to look at these more videos there. And based on what you see there, I want you then to come up with a hypothesis. Well, first I want you to make 3 observations. What is it you saw? So just simply fill out what you saw. Then you are supposed to come up with 3 hypotheses where you're basically, based on the what you saw, you then propose a rule that you think, I think termites do this, so I think termites do that, and then you're going to do something to test this hypothesis. We're going to talk about variables, and I talk about variables in the lecture. So you're supposed to then figure out what's a responding variable, what's a manipulated variable, and all of that. You're going to collect your data, you're going to graph your data, and then you're going to share, you're going to record your results. The way you're going to communicate this with me, though, the results that you have, is with this handout question set. And I'm going to go through that to just kind of show you what you're encountering there. So you're going to watch these termites on the Google site, right? And you're going to record 1, 2, 3 observations. Then you're going to record 1, 2, 3 hypotheses, and then you're going to make a decision of which hypothesis is going to be tested. And then I want you to think a little bit about the experiment itself. This question asks you what kind of data can you gather? So what kinds of things can you measure? Because it's important to know what you can measure and what's part of your setup. And then you just type in there what types of data you will gather. The independent variable is part of your setup. So that's the one that you set up to start with. The responding variable, that's the kind of things that you can measure. So decide which ones and then the constant variable, you're going to try to hold everything constant in a scientific experiment. I'm asking you how many times you're repeating this experiment. And then we're going to start looking at the simulated data. There's a YouTube video there. I want you to look at it and then answer these questions. And then look at this and answer these questions, which is similar to watching the videos on the on the Google site, but this time it's looking at the simulated data. And then I want you to look at the simulated data and try to basically work out an experimental procedure. And then I want you to record your results. So the way we're going to do this is with a form here. Some of these questions are the same. You've seen those before. So you just fill in these data. So time on the line. That's my recommendation. So pick time on the line. Don't go with distance. It's harder to measure. Then think a little bit about videos. One of the things about these videos is they're different in length. So you're going to have to figure out a way how you're going to make them the same, because you're trying to hold most things constant, right? The next question then asks you what the hypothesis that you're actually going to be testing. And then after a couple of more questions, you get to this where you're doing the actual experiment. And all I want you to put in there, so you're going to have whatever pen color, whatever marker color you choose. Let's say, for example, you are using the red pen as part of your experiment. Then your answer is, whatever number of seconds or whatever you have there. If you don't test the red pen, just go to the next one, because it gives you the option for all the different colors and all the different markers to put in the data. And then once you've checked all the data through, you then submit your experiment, and then that's that. This form is in part because I want you to then describe your experimental procedure. So describe the procedure you just used to get the data, and describe your data and results, and then write down what conclusions you can draw from this experiment. And the one thing you still need to complete your experiment is figure out where the simulated termite data is at. So the simulated termite data is here. If you click on that, it brings up a Google document. And this Google document, you can click on each of these individual items here, and each of them brings you to a simulated termite that runs on either the black ballpoint or the black marker, the blue ballpoint, the blue marker, the red marker, the red ballpoint, the green ballpoint, and the green marker. And for each one of those, when you click on it, you get a video of a termite that's running around on a circle or does not run around on the circle, as the case may be. And you're going to use this data to figure out what the rule is. Do they run around? Do they run around? Do they prefer specific colors? Do they prefer markers over ballpoint pens, or ballpoint pens or markers? And that's what you're trying to figure out. And I hope this helps with you doing this experiment.